What a night. Galatasaray destroy Juventus 5-5-2. The first time we have ever scored 5 goals in the Champions League. Me and Serkan actually went out to a restaurant and a bar and watched it. Guess how many Galatasaray fans were there? Just the 2 of us. But that's enough. Yes, that's better than none, right? Man. So Gabriel Sara opens the scoring. And let me show you something that I said back in November.
In the transfer window, I say we've got to sell Sara. I don't know what's happened to the guy, but Sara and Yusuf, the Yusuf experiment has to be over. Sara's just looked not good this year. We need to bring in somebody like Getson Fernandez, some more talent. There's too big a drop-off between our starters and our bench right now to succeed long-term in both the league and the Champions League.
So maybe I don't know everything that you guys think I do. Apparently, Sara was still coming back from the injury and playing through it like a trooper because, man, does he look good today. If I could eat my words, I would. So, sorry, Sara.
So you're taking your words back.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
I'm not too big a person to admit when I'm wrong.
You're not a Sara hater anymore.
Yeah, I'm not. Not now. I'm not.
Thank you.
Sevgi. So now we're up 1-0. But then what happens? Like 48 seconds later, this guy who's he's a coal miner. And his name, like coal miner. It sounds like coal miner in English.
Say his name.
This guy was a defensive player. Now he's a midfield player with Spalletti. He scores, and then later the rascal scores again. Like he probably wouldn't have scored this goal like twice in his whole life. So now we're down 2-0. But I looked at Serkan. I said, "Don't worry, we still have an hour to go. We have an hour to go." And boy, did we use that hour effectively. So we're down 2-1, and then Cambiaso gets a yellow card. Some time goes by, and my man Barış up the right side, I'll quote Spalletti, was raping them. I didn't know you can still say that anymore. He said they were raping. Barış raped them up the right side. And so Cambiaso fouls him again. It should have been his second red. He gave cards for less than this. He didn't give him a red.
Yeah.
I know, but they took him off at halftime. And before the game, this was the guy, we had to deal with. So you took him off. Then Lang scores. What are you going to do? Could the guy pick a better stage to score his first goal for Galatasaray? He scores. And then, what's his name? Juan Checktail, something like that. He gets a yellow card. He's the guy that came in for Cambiaso. Then off the Sara cross, I knew it was coming. I stood up. I was going, go, 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 go. Boom. Sara cross glances off Sanchez's head. Boom. We score again. So now we're getting super stoked because now we're tied. But then the defender, Satal, gets his second yellow card. So now we're scoring goals and they have 10 men. And Cambiaso is off. And boy, did that just create space in the midfield. Lots of space in the midfield. And God bless Okan. Did he start bringing in tons of defenders? No. He brings in more offensive players. He brings in Mario Icardi.
Yep. Sana was in.
Sane look at Singo comes in. He's shooting right. He's shooting right and left. But then Lang scores again. So now the guy opens his Champions League account, scoring 2 goals for us. And after the game,
what a great start.
I know. After the game, Lang goes, "I'm not even at my best yet. I'm still trying to catch up." I'm like, "Bro, really? You're not at your best yet?" Oh, he was real good. Sacha Boy comes in as a substitute. He scores. And so if you had any complaint, it was Eunice playing 10. Eunice playing 10. That was the only complaint that we had. He lost some balls. The second goal, he thought he was fouled. He was complaining while they were still running down the pitch. So I'm not sold on Eunice at 10, but if we
tell the message that I sent you before the game.
Yeah. Well, who do we want at 10? We wanted Shalai at 10. Singo at right back, but that didn't happen. But this is the lineup. Ocon went with the safest lineup that he could, and kind of find out it was pretty effective as well, because we were scoring goals before the substitutions happened. But man, what a dream night! We're going to Italy next week, up 5-2. Nothing's over. But Lamina will be back, which means Sara can play 10. Eunice goes to the bench. And Cambiaso is suspended because of red card accumulation, so he's out. And Cabal, who got the red card, is out as well. So, Serkan, talk about how both of those defensive players being out and getting one of our best central defensive midfielders in the game in Italy, how that favors us.
That's going to be different because their left backs are suspended for the next game. So the only left back that they have is Kostic, ex-Fenerbahce player. So we have this advantage, and we're having Lamina back for the next game too. I think we're going to go through and get at least a point from the away game at Juventus, and we'll get to the next round. I have no doubts about it.
So I'm curious, so they got their hearts ripped out against Inter. We talked about that in the last episode. They've got to play Como. That's where our man Morata is playing now, who's in 7th place. Now Juventus has dropped down to 5th place. So Juventus has to play 7th place this weekend while we're playing Konyaspor, who's got awful this year. They're right above the drop zone, right? So they're going to have to play starters in that game, because they're about to fall. I think they've already fallen out of Champions League spots in at least, because they have 4, right? So they're going to have to play their starters against Como while we're going to be able to mix and match against Konya. So that's going to favor us. And 2, I've played sports. You've played them. When you're going to play a team a week later after they just beat you down, now they're getting players back while you're losing players. I don't care what a coach says. You're already going to walk into that game with doubt in your mind. What's that?
Yeah, I said that's a good sign. Juventus have conceded 5 goals in a Champions League game for the first time in history. Did you know that?
I did. First time we scored 5, first time they gave up 5. What a great day for it to happen.
This is a night that we'll never forget.
Hey, remember when you were giving me the stats about Icardi and Osimhen, how many scores they'd scored against Juventus? I said, good, we'll beat them 18-3. Yeah.
We were close.
Who was it? Sane. With like 30 seconds to left, up 5-2. Sane was trying to hustle him up to get the ball back in to score more.
We were looking for the 6th in minute 93.
One of the ex-Juventus players from like the 90s and kind of the 2000s.
Del Piero?
He said the only reason... What's that?
Del Piero?
No, is a different one. But he said, I saw him on Twitter. He said that the only reason we only scored 5 is because the game ran out of time.
That's right, yeah.
And I agree. Again, I'm going to keep saying it because it was so rough to go through back in November. But being able to bring these types of substitutes in, you take off Shalai, you bring in Singo. You take off Barış, you bring in Sane. You take off Eunice, you bring in Icardi. I mean, it's just amazing. And a couple points.
Well, that's the bench quality, man.
Yeah. And hey, everybody was crapping on Dursun Özbek. But look, two of his transfers, Lang and Bowie, scored in this game.
Regardless of how good we are, and regardless of how bad they are, seeing Juventus lose 5-2 in the Champions League is shocking to the world.
But this is exactly what we needed. I said this in that short that was out. This was about changing the perception of how people view Galatasaray and the Super League. So I'm so glad we went out and destroyed Juventus. And that was our question. Shouldn't the champion of Turkey be able to beat the 4th place team from Italy? And yes, we did. So this will help change the narrative. The headline tomorrow, this will be the headline tomorrow.
We're all over the news.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is how you keep getting good players. This is how you convert fans. All these Premier League fans, a lot of these Barcelona fans, Real Madrid fans, are they from these cities? No. Is their grandmother Dutch or British or Catalonian? No. Why are they fans? Because the teams are good. And they had players like Ronaldo and Messi and these kind of deals, right? So if we're really good, we've got players like Osimhen and Icardi and Lang and Sane. There's no reason why people shouldn't be wearing these around in a couple of years just because we're good. And my other point, Ocon made a great one. They said, have your goals changed in the Champions League? And he made a good point. Last year, Paris Saint-Germain barely qualified. They came in like 24th place, right?
The Champions League.
They won.
Exactly
and
right.
could you name any of their players last season?
I know a few, but that's all.
That's it, right? And so, yeah, if we go to Turin and take care of business, whoever we get, but especially we get Tottenham, they're a mess. We would go out, then we're going to go through we're going to be in the final 8.
They're playing tomorrow, right?
Yes. They're playing tomorrow. And our next game is next Wednesday. All the games are on Wednesday next week. So, but yeah,
It
this
was a
is
tight night for Juventus. The fans will remember this for a long time.
we're going to remember this for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We remember the Schneider goal. We remember these things. We're going to
It was
remember
1-0. We still remember that.
we're going to remember the night Juventus came into Istanbul and got that ass whooped.
I just want to freeze the day.
Just amazing, amazing, and it felt so
We had
good
so
for us
much
to
fun.
go. It felt so good to go out somewhere and get the people there kind of like engaged in who Galatasaray is, and then win like that, and tell them we'll see you next week. So yes, very very exciting. Hopefully if you're watching, if you were there, tell us in the comments how much fun it was. My friend Nurul was there. That's the only person I know that was there for sure. And the guy that runs a show called the Gala Channel on Instagram, he was there. That's the only 2 people I kind of personally know that were there. But man, it doesn't matter if you were there, watching it on TV, on your phone, on your tablet. It doesn't matter. All I want to do now is like find me some baklava. Well, I got some kunafe in the freezer. Make some homemade pide, eat some kunafe, drink some tea. Have no pizza
No,
again for another
I
week.
think you gotta change your menu. You gotta eat pizza tonight,
No, I will
or
not
maybe
eat pizza till
spaghetti,
after next. None of
or
that till
maybe
after next
spaghetti.
next Wednesday night. We can do that. No, that
Okay, so that's a
anything,
promise.
all that's banned. You can't play Super Mario Brothers. Can't do any of that stuff. It's all out. It's all out. And man, I know everybody's like this. If you don't have a portable charger or something, you're toast because like your phone's blowing up right and left. These are the kind of days we live for. The kind of days we live for.
Absolutely, yep.
And so yeah, it was awesome. Barış played amazing, just destroyed them. Sara.
Who's your man of the match?
Well, but before we leave, let's talk about Osimhen. Why we love Osimhen. We heard the guy say, "Why is Osimhen here?" But
He
again,
was so
how did?
pissed right after the game. What was that about? He
Because he
looked
didn't
so
score. He's
unhappy
always
after
like
the game.
He's always, when he doesn't score, he goes up to whoever could have passed the ball to him and tells him, "Why didn't you pass?" He does this. "Why didn't you? I could have scored right there." Chokach.
We won the game by a big margin. So the most important thing is that the team has won, and that's what it matters, right?
But he wants to score too, like that little deal, like we're in Lang's second goal. Osimhen just pokes his toe in there and knocks the ball out. How many other strikers would have been that active in that zone like that to set him up. And my gosh, how many times he was back on defense, winning the ball for
He
us.
helped a lot. Yep. Yep.
Well, yeah. And so,
He
yeah, it was
plays
just
for
like,
the team. He's not selfish. We have seen him
Yeah.
playing against a Division 2 team, against a team in the Champions League. He's always the same. He's not a selfish guy.
it wouldn't matter if he's playing against Eskişehir, Spor,
No.
or Juventus. He's going to play just as hard. But that's it. It's a wonderful night. We'll play, who we're playing? Yeah, we're playing Konya on
Oh, yeah.
Saturday.
We're going away.
Going away to Konya.
Sunday or
I
Saturday?
would-
Saturday. Is it
Saturday.
Saturday?
Saturday. Hey, if any players are watching this, if you go to Konya, have the P-Day. It is so good. It's super long, like a sword. It is so good. So good. And then we'll be back at it in leg 2 in Turin a week from tomorrow. So yes, everybody, enjoy yourselves. Like the episode, comment, tell us how wonderful life is, because it is so wonderful. We'll all sleep well tonight. I said to somebody, this is one of the few times I'm glad I'm not in Istanbul. If I was, I would not sleep a wink tonight. I'd still be out in Taksim right now. I'd be at Champion Kokorej, eating. I'd come home, record this you would never sleep. But that's a wonderful thing. So, hadi, im Duke, Jim Bowman.